Hey guys, it's Bastian time. This is This Week in Nintendo News. I'm your host Bastian. Let's get to that first story. So first up, those of you know that Nintendo has provided not only the tablet-style gamepad controller for the Wii U, but also the Wii U Pro Controller, which is a more traditional controller shape. A lot of people say it's basically the Xbox 360 controller shape. Which isn't a bad thing. And anyways, unfortunately, if you were hoping that you would be able to play games on the Wii U's Virtual Console with the Pro Controller, that's not the case right now. Nintendo says that they understand that that people would want that, so they are working towards that at a later date, but at this time, you're going to have to use the Wii U gamepad. Also speaking about the Wii U, and basically a lot of these stories are going to be about the Wii U, those of you who are minors and you want to register for the Nintendo Network, that's going to cost your parents 50 cents, which is not a ton of money, but that's per household, and basically the reason for that is Nintendo just wants to verify that an adult is allowing the use of the Nintendo Network. I mean, it's basically the sort of thing where they want to make sure that they have your parents' permission for sure, and what better way than to force your parents to use their debit card or credit card to then charge for that. So, again, that's only 50 cents, though, per household, not a big deal. What is a big deal, and is $5,000, is this listing for the Wii U Basic, not even the Deluxe, just the Basic, and a box of Twinkies. Yeah, that's because, and this is completely non-Nintendo related, but that's because, Hostess, apparently the company that makes the Twinkies, is going bankrupt or something like that, so everybody freaked out and said, oh no, no Twinkies, but then it turns out that, of course, there's still going to be Twinkies. Just because the company goes bankrupt doesn't mean that somebody else isn't going to buy the really popular food brands and then continue producing those. So I really don't see that anybody's actually going to be buying a box of Twinkies and a Wii U Basic for $5,000, but maybe somebody will. So right off the bat, at launch, somebody found their way into the Wii U's debug menu, and in that debug menu, found some really unusual listings. For instance, one called Yoshi's Land Wii U. That would be cool. I don't understand why it's not called Yoshi's Island Wii U, though. Maybe that's a typo. Maybe this is completely fake. We don't know yet. It could just be that and Nintendo has since said that this was just a mock-up debug menu or something like that, but that might be their way of covering their tracks so that they basically have an accidentally pre-announced Yoshi's Land Wii U before they were ready for anybody to know about it, so we'll have to wait until E3, of course. If it's already in the debug menu and it's legit, then we'll be hearing about it at E3 in June. I'm excited for the possibility. Yoshi's Land Wii U sounds great. Also, something that happened at launch for the Wii U, but has since been corrected, thank goodness, is that the Netflix service was available at launch. However, if you had a password that had the @ symbol, you know, the A with the circle-y loop-de-doo thing around it, you'd kind of be screwed, unfortunately, because Netflix did not include an @ symbol in their program's keyboard layout. So yeah, if you had an @ symbol in your password, your only option is to log on to a different device like your computer or something, change your password to not include the @ symbol, and then go back to your Netflix account on the Wii U and use that non @ symbol password. But anyways, again, that has now been fixed. They've included the @ symbol on the keyboard, so you can go back to business as usual. Next up is Kirby, and this is just bizarre. Apparently, in all of the Japanese version of the covers of the games since the beginning, Kirby always has a very smiley, pleasant expression on his face. But, again, since the dawn of Kirby, over here in America, they replace the smile with an angry look. Because I guess Americans don't like cutesy smiley things. We like cutesy angry things? I don't know. But anyways, this just made me giggle and kind of shake my head at, you know, the whole North America versus Japan sensibilities when it comes to cutesiness. I guess over here we don't like it. But I do, and I like Kirby, and I'm actually just finally getting around to playing Kirby's Epic Yarn, but that's non sequitur. Netflix has set up some interesting processes for disconnecting your service on your Wii U, and it involves the famous Konami Code. For those not familiar with the Konami Code, where have you been living under a rock? But, you know, it's the up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, BA, start. I think that's it. If I said that wrong, correct me down in the comments. But anyways, if you go ahead and do that while you're in your Netflix application, then it will start up the process for disconnecting your Netflix account from your Wii U, so that's pretty cool. Speaking of the Wii U, there were tons of rumors before it was released that, in fact, Nintendo themselves, it wasn't necessarily rumors, but people thought, oh, of course, the Wii U will upscale the graphic quality of Wii games for the Wii U. But then Nintendo came forward and said, no, it's not going to, that's not really the case. But actually, it turns out it is the case. Now, while the native resolution isn't changed, the actual images are crisper and clearer, so I don't really know why Nintendo didn't, instead of saying, no, it's not going to do that, didn't say, well, what it is going to do is make them crisper and clearer. That would have been a better selling point, but anyways. So for those viewers who live down under, first of all, G'day and I promise I will never do that again. And also, you lucky sons of are getting a white 3DS XL. We, over here in the States, as you call it, are not getting a white 3DS XL. So, yeah, I see how it is. XSEED, who is an amazing publisher of all kinds of games, most notable now for The Last Story, which is the awesome Wii RPG that was created by the original creator of the Final Fantasy series. Anyways, XSEED has come forward and said, hey, did you know that actually The Last Story was our most successful title ever? Which is pretty amusing considering that Nintendo was originally not going to allow The Last Story to be released over here in America. It was only going to be in Japan and in Europe. Which is ridiculous because anybody who looked at the footage from The Last Story could tell that it was an amazing game and that people would eat it up. So I have no idea why Nintendo was so against releasing it over here. And for those not really in the know, the actual creators of The Last Story had no say in the process because Nintendo was the publisher. So while Monolith Soft created the game, they're not actually the ones that can release it. It takes a third party, a publisher in a lot of cases, to then distribute that game and take over that process. Nintendo was that third-party distributor in Japan and in Europe, but said, nah, we're not going to release it in America. So then XSEED petitioned Nintendo and said, please let us release this, which was so simple for them to do. And they did, thank goodness, and I played it, and I love it. It's a great game. Also, now there is no longer the deluxe collector's edition, but you can buy a much less expensive regular version. So be sure to look into that. It is a great game. And I just love XSEED in general. They take it upon themselves to release a lot of games that would otherwise not be released over here in America. A lot of the East games that you've heard me talk about in games like Zelda episodes, a lot of the newer East games are released by XSEED. So they're a fantastic company, and give them lots of love by purchasing copies of the last story. But it sounds like you have already, because they say it's their most successful title so far, so that's awesome. And then our final story is about a group of fans who took it upon themselves to create a Facebook app for Nintendo Network. So that way, you can sort of type in your Nintendo Network ID and then find all of your friends whom you have in your Nintendo Network over on Facebook. That's pretty cool. So if you want to go ahead and find those Nintendo Network friends over on Facebook, there's a link for you for that app down below. So that's it for this episode of This Week in Nintendo News. Tomorrow I'm actually going to have a video, and that's going to be a long overdue Games Like Zelda episode. Yes, finally a new one of those. And I think I'm going to be doing those about once a month again. And so anyway, stay tuned for that. See ya. Bye.